Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here, back with another part of What If Naruto was raised by Jiraiya and Tsunade. And if you haven't, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. And yeah guys, without further ado, let's continue on with our story. 6 years after the QB attack, 3 years had passed after the incident with Kumogakure, known as the Yuga Affair, in which fortunately there was nothing that threatened Konoha's stability, and it could continue its recovery from the QB attack. That doesn't mean that nothing eventful happened in Konoha. Plenty of things actually happened. Among those worth mentioning was the new members of the Senju family. Shortly up before the meeting with the Raikage, Tsunade became even more moodier than usual, had morning sicknesses, and her hunger skyrocketed. After performing a few tests, it was confirmed that Tsunade was indeed pregnant. Though not everybody reacted to the news with joy and jubilation. Flashback. Shizune, where the hell is my sake? Tsunade roared as she furiously inspected all the house cabinets, looking for her best friend. I hid it away. The young Konomichi replied between stutters. You did what? I did it for your own good, Lady Tsunade. Shizune, we already talked about this. I'm old enough to. I don't mean it. Tsunade-sama, you're pregnant now. You can't drink alcohol or anything else. It may damage the baby. Tsunade was rendered silent as Shizune's words started to sink in. 9 months within and without her best friend to help her go through the pains of pregnancy. She fell on her knees. No! Her agonish yell was heard across all the elemental nations that night. End of the flashback. Coincidentally, the crystal on Tsunade's necklace, who used to belong to the first Hokage, and it is said to bear his chakra, started to glow, very dimly at first, but progressively brighter as the pregnancy went on. It also glowed brighter when closer to Tsunade's growing belly. And the surprises didn't end there. Turns out Tsunade gave birth to twins. Flashback. Tsunade was in the hospital bed with holding newborn babies with blanket wrapped around them on each arm. At her side were Jiraiya, Shizune and Naruto. So, have you thought how are you going to name them? Shizune said. Yes, the girl is Kaede, Jiraiya said, and the boy's name is going to be Hagane. Tsunade said, Can I hold the baby? Can I? Please, please, please? Naruto said, jumping up and down. Okay, but be careful and holding them tight, okay? Tsunade said as she handed Hagane to Naruto. I know I'm not stupid, Naruto said as he held the baby, which weighed more than he expected. Hey there, baby, I'm Naruto, your big brother. Shizune meanwhile was holding Kaede. They are perfect, aren't they? Indeed. I've been waiting 9 months for this moment, Tsunade said as she looking at her children, sweetly smiling. Then she looked at Tsunade. Shizune, bring me my damn sake now. End of the flashback. Turns out the necklace also reacted whenever it was near the twins. Nobody could figure out why, but they knew it meant something. Soon after twins' birth, Naruto turned 4, and the two Sanin decided that it was time to start his ninja training, at least the basics. However, he would join the academy in 2 years, and they wanted him to be prepared as possible. The little blonde kid couldn't be happier. However, said happiness didn't last long when instead of cool jutsus or at least taijutsu combos, all what Jiraiya and Tsunade taught him was chakra control exercises, hand seals, and basic taijutsu forms. Naruto's training routine consisted in mostly practicing simply punches and kicking against a small cushioned training dummy, practicing hand seals and chakra control exercises, and consisted mostly in keeping a leaf stuck to his forehead using chakra. Whenever he completed the exercise, they simply told him that the next time he would have to keep it little longer. Unfortunately for Tsunade and Jiraiya, Naruto's attention span was non-existent, and he couldn't barely focus on a task that he deemed too boring and uncool. Regardless of how many times the two Sanis told him that he had to master the basics first before they could teach him the cooler stuff. It was until a year and a half, though to Naruto it felt much longer, then the blonde Jinchuriki would learn his first jutsu. Flashback. Alright Naruto, your mother and I decided that your chakra control is good enough to teach you your first jutsu. Jiraiya said, Yay, finally! Naruto said, starry-eyed as he pumped his fist while leaping in the air. To show you how this jutsu works, I need you to attack me first. So give me your first hit. Alright, Naruto said as he took up some steps back. He then charged at Jiraiya and leapt in order to hit him with a flying kick, dragon kick of awesome fury. Naruto roared. Naruto barely noticed his adoptive father going through a series of hand seals, and a second later, Naruto landed on foot lengths from Jiraya's chest. The white-haired Sonic disappeared in a cloud of smoke, leaving a log in its place. What? I believe this is something you call cool, right? Jiraiya said from behind him. Naruto turned around, startled. How did you do that? This is called body replacement jutsu. Your body is replaced with another object the moment you hit. Not only is very useful to avoid fatal blows, but it also perfect to set an ambush to an unsuspecting enemy. Whoa, please teach me how to do this. First, you must learn to do the hand seals quickly. The sequence is tiger, boar, ox, dog, and snake. We will repeat it until you can do it faster enough, then. End of the flashback. After practicing the technique for a few months, Naruto hadn't mastered the body replacement yet. He still had some troubles with the hand seals, but that didn't let him down. After all, most kids didn't learn the techniques until they were in the academy, so he had the advantage over them. Besides, today was a good day. It was the first time he ever saw snow in Konoha, and he had a really fun snowball fight with his family. Then, after lunch, he went to enroll the academy, and now he was on his way home to tell his parents. He was so excited to finally become a real ninja. Your eyes are so creepy, huh? Naruto said, looking around for a source of voice. He could tell it was voice of a boy his age. I'm sure you're a monster. Another voice said. Naruto felt a chill going down his spine. Monster. He remembered the talk he had with his parents a couple weeks before his 6th birthday. Flashback. Naruto, listen up. You will be 6 soon, and your mother and I decided it was time for you to know some important things. Jiraiya stated, as he placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. He was rather serious, as opposite to his usual carefree demeanor. We want you to learn these things from us rather than somebody else. Tsunade mirrored her husband. It is something bad I did? Naruto asked, getting genuinely worried. No, of course not. Tsunade reassured, and a sweat dropped. It's just, it's that we are not your real parents. Jiraiya stated. Naruto gasped in shock. Jiraiya! Tsunade shouted at the white-haired man, who flinched. What? You are being too damn long. Never mind. Listen, Naruto. You know what happened almost 6 years ago? Yeah. A demon fox named Kyuubi attacked Konoha and the 4th Hokage killed it, but he died in the process. You see, Naruto, that's not entirely true. Jiraiya said, looking Naruto in the eyes. Turns out the Kyuubi is far too powerful to be killed like that, not even by somebody as strong as the 4th. The best he could do was to seal the demon inside somebody else. And that somebody else is, it was you, Naruto. What? And why would the 4th Hokage do that? And who are my real parents then? Wait, does that mean that the demon fox is going to hurt me? Of course not. The steel that keeps the demon imprisoned inside you is very strong and will protect everybody, yourself included. Besides, you didn't even suspect that there was a demon inside you until you were told, right? You didn't feel that there was something wrong going on, right? Tsunade told him in a reassuring tone. No, Naruto said. As to answer your question, the reason the 4th chose you was because you have a special kind of chakra that will help keep the Kyuubi imprisoned. If he chose somebody else, the demon fox would have escaped and continued its rampage. He also believed that in the future you could use the Kyuubi's power for good. I see, Naruto said, feeling that he was about to cry. So that's why when I go out, people avoid me and grown-ups tell their kids not to go near me because they're afraid of the Kyuubi. Bosanis nodded sadly. And to answer your second question, your father was the 4th Hokage himself, Minato Namikaze. Jiraiya said. Naruto was now speechless. Tears started to come from his eyes. Your mother was Kushina Uzumaki, the last known member of the Uzumaki clan. That's why your father decided you should inherit her last name instead of his, since he was born to a non-named civilian family of fishers, Jiraiya explained. So my father died fighting the Kyuubi, and my mother? She died during the attack too. Many people died. And people who lost somebody precious that day will mistakenly blame you for the Kyuubi's action. But don't let them affect you, Naruto. Naruto broke down crying. It was too much for his little heart to take. Jiraiya and Tsunade did the only thing they could and hugged their adoptive son. Naruto cried his eyes out for nearly 20 minutes. Now listen, Naruto. We understand you may be angry with us for not telling you this sooner, Jiraiya whispered without breaking the hug. But we will always love you, and we will always be here whenever you need us. Tsunade added. After wiping the tears from his face and the snot from his nose, Tsunade leaned in. Naruto opened his mouth to speak again. Don't worry, guys. I'm not angry, and I don't care what other people said. You guys don't consider me a monster, and that's what matters. And if they still think I am going to prove them that they're all wrong. I'll become the greatest ninja who ever lived. I will become the Hokage just like my father. Naruto suddenly felt guilty for calling his father to a practical stranger in front of his people who raised him, but they didn't seem to mind. For a second, when Naruto declared his bold dreams, Tsunade saw his little brother Nawaki and his former lover Dan in Naruto. She felt worried that Naruto's path would lead him to the same doom as them, but part of her reassured her that it wouldn't be the case, that Naruto would succeed where others had failed, that she should put faith in them. Of course, you will, kiddo, Tsunade cheerfully said. Yeah, you'll show him who's the boss, Jiraya added. Thank you, even if you're not my real parents, can I still call you mom and dad? This time it was the two sons' turns to break down in tears. End of the flashback. Tracking the voice, Naruto found a trio of boys surrounding a girl his age. The girl had short blue hair and very pale eyes. She was on the verge of tears. Yes, the Byakugan monster, right? One of the boys said. The girl couldn't take it anymore and fell on the knees, crying. Such shameful display made Naruto's blood boil with anger. Hey, stop it! Naruto yelled as he rushed towards them. What do you want, dork? One of the boys asked. Hey, I'm know this guy. He's the demon fox. Another kid said. Of course the demon boy would defend the demon girl, right? He's the first kid. I'm not a demon, and neither is she. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the future Hokage. Future Hokage, huh? The third kid laughed. You know my parents said to stay away from you, that you're dangerous. But now that I see you, you don't look that much dangerous to me. In fact, you look like a wimp. Come on, let's teach this demon brat not to mess with much stronger people, the first kid said as he reared his fist back. The blue-haired girl gasped when the kid's fist connected with Naruto's fist. Naruto didn't flinch. You call that a punch? My mom punched way harder than you. With a quick movement, Naruto pushed the kid's fist out of his face and punched him in the face as well. The punch knocked the first kid on his butt. Ha! Take that, Naruto cheered. However, the blonde Jinchuriki didn't see the other two bullies coming at him. One of the punches hit him in the gut, while the other punch pushed him back into the snow. Naruto gasped for air as he grabbed his pained stomach. He could hear the other two kids coming at him. Suddenly he remembered something Jiraiya had told him during his training. Look around you and try to use your surroundings to your advantage. There were lots of snow, so he could use that. Hey, he's getting up. I think he wants to be beaten more. One of the bullies laughed. As fast as he could, Naruto turned around and tossed some snow at the bully's face. His throw was accurate enough to hit the intended targets. My eyes! Both of them screamed in unison as they threw their hands to their eyes. Taking advantage of their momentary blindness, Naruto grabbed the larger of the two bullies and pushed him against the smaller one, and both of them ended up on the ground. One of them got up quicker than Naruto had anticipated and landed a punch on Naruto's face. Naruto replied with a punch to the gut and quickly kicked the kid onto his fallen friend. You're dead! Naruto turned around and saw the bully he punched first at him, holding a rather large tree branch. His instinct screamed at him to dodge, but instead he decided to try something else. He hand formed 5 seals. When the first bully hit Naruto in the face with the branch, Naruto disappeared in a cloud of smoke, leaving a pile of snow instead. Yes, it worked! What the hell? Can you use ninjutsu? The bully said, angry, but now also shocked. He looked around. Where did he go now? Dragon kick of awesome fury! Naruto yelled as he leaped at the bully from the branch he had just teleported, kicking him in the face, knocking him backwards. Did you have enough already, or do you want more? Because I got go for a lot longer than you want. And there's more from where that came from. Deciding that they had enough, the 3 bullies got up and ran away. And pray I don't catch you again, making a girl cry, Naruto yelled as he saw the 3 bullies disappearing from the side. Especially a blind girl. Naruto walked towards that girl, who didn't move from her spot since the fight broke out. Hey, are you okay? Yes, thank you, the blue-haired girl said. But I'm not blind. You're not? Naruto asked. A bit shocked, he moved closer to her, making the girl blush. I saw your eyes and I thought, oh, sorry then, Naruto said sheepishly as he rubbed the back of his head. And you have an eye swollen and a bloody nose, the girl pointed out, a bit worried. This is nothing. Mom is a medic and will heal it in an instant. The girl started to stare at Naruto without uttering a word. Well, I gotta go. As you just saw, I'm a ninja. I just enrolled in the academy and I have to tell my parents. See ya, Naruto said as he left the scene at a quick pace. Link braid. Wait, Hinata said, but the boy named Naruto was already too far away, and he didn't hear her. Hinata cursed her indecisiveness. There were so many things she wanted to talk about with him. She didn't ask him his name, even if she heard it, and she didn't give him hers. But he had said he was a ninja and that he had enrolled in the academy. He looked to be the same age as her, so maybe they would be in the same class. Those kids called him the Demon Fox. Does that mean that he was the kid with the QB seal inside him? She remembered someone from the clan grown-ups telling her that if she ever crossed paths with him, to avoid him at all cost, that he was dangerous and a monster. But he defended her for not one but three bullies and fought them all at once. How can somebody so kind and selfless could be dangerous or a monster? A certain feeling that Hinata's young mind couldn't identify formed inside her. For some reason, she felt she needed to see this boy again. Link break. A couple of months later, at the dango shop, Shizune was having lunch with Itachi Uchiha and two of his clansmen. The first one was Shisui, a teen a few years older than Itachi and a couple years younger than Shizune, who had dark short hair and black eyes, which were so common among the Uchiha. The other one was a kid of about the same age as Naruto, who also had a dark hair and twin bags falling over his face and the same black eyes. The kid was Itachi's younger brother Sasuke. While Shizune felt out of place, being the only one not being an Uchiha, Itachi insisted on her joining them. She couldn't pinpoint when it happened exactly, but she and Itachi had become friends during the past few years. They even sparred quite a few times, and Shizune even helped him and his team prepare the Chunin exam. Itachi was treating them at one of his favorite spots to celebrate his first success mission as a team leader. Shizune felt hard to believe that the kid, who was barely 11, could have ascended to the rank of Chunin so quick when most kids his age didn't even had graduated the academy yet. So tell us, Itachi, and be honest, were you afraid during this mission? Shizune asked. Well, I'd lie if I said I wasn't. Maybe a little. Itachi replied. Only a little? Man, when I led my first mission, I was such a nerve wreck. I couldn't sleep the night before. But then again, it wasn't as bad as it appeared to be. Huh, Shisui said with a laugh. But Itachi-Nisan completed a lot of dangerous missions. Well, he should be scared, Sasuke asked. Sasuke, when you're the leader of a team, everything changes. Not only you're responsible for the missions being a success, but you have to make sure that all your teammates come back home alive and, if possible, without any missing limb, Shisui explained. But if you have to take care of your teammates, that doesn't mean that you're a burden to you. Then why didn't Itachi go to the mission alone? Because some missions can't be done by one ninja. Shizune explained. If you need to break down a door reinforced with protective seals, you need a seal master to disable them. If you're in a search and rescue mission, you'll need a sensor and most likely a medic. And sometimes it's also a matter of numbers, since there will be times in which two or more people will needed to be at two or more different places at the same time. Do you understand now, Sasuke-kun? The youngest Uchiha nodded. Shizune-san is right. Being a powerful ninja on your own is fine, but there will be times in which your power won't be enough and you need the help of others, Shisui said. By the way, Sasuke, how is the academy? Itachi said. It's okay, I guess. They teach me mostly stuff I already know, so it's kind of boring. At the very least, the shuriken and kunai toss practice and taijutsu practice are nice, Sasuke said with a shrug. You know, my little brother also goes to the academy, Shizune mentioned. His name is Naruto. Did you see him? Naruto? Does he have spiky blonde hair? He super loud and claims every 5 seconds that he's going to be Hokage. Shizune chuckled. Well, that's an accurate description of him. I presume that you met him then. I did. For some reason, he likes to sit beside me. And no offense to Jiraiya-sama and Tsunade-sama, but given who their parents are, I expected him to be stronger. Well, you could say that Naruto-kun has some trouble focusing. His body moves way faster than his brain does, but we're working on it. Shizune said and laughed. He looks like an interesting fellow. Maybe you should befriend him, Shisui suggested. In fact, I was about to take him to the park. Do you want to join us, Sasuke-kun? Shizune asked. Pass. Itachi promised to train me when he came back. Maybe another day, Sasuke replied with a dismissive hand wave. Come on, kid. I'm sure you'll have fun. There's more to life than training, Shisui insisted. Eh? It's okay, I don't want him to come against his will. Like he said, maybe another day. I'll better get going. Itachi-kun, congratulations again for your first mission as a team leader. Shisui-san, Sasuke-kun, it was nice to meet you as well. Nice to meet you too, Shizune-san, Shisui replied. Once the young woman was gone, he leaned towards Itachi and whispered, Man, that was friend of yours is really cute. Do you know if she has a boyfriend? Link break. Just like how Hinata predicted, Naruto and she were in the same class. However, the terribly shy girl couldn't gather the confidence to talk to him again. And much to her dismay, Naruto never noticed her. Not only did he forget about her, it was almost as if she never existed to him. But deep down, she knew there was nobody to blame but herself. She followed him many times after class. He usually went to that ramen restaurant named Ichiraku. Sometimes he went directly to his home, while other times went to one of Konoha's training grounds where one of his parents was already waiting for him for a training session. Not a surprise was major when she found out that his parents were Jiraya and Tsunade, two of the legendary Sanins and the hero of the Second War that appeared in the history books. Hinata also noticed that whenever Naruto went to the park to play with the other kids, their parents would pick them up and take them somewhere else, leaving poor Naruto alone to play. Did they seriously believe that he was a monster? Couldn't they see that he was a kid like any other? Today, one of those days, Naruto arrived at the park with a small pig and his older sister, and these kids, who didn't left on their own, were taken out of there by their parents. Hinata really wanted to go there and play with him. She really did, but the moment she took a step forward, her chronic shyness manifested in full force and left her frozen in place. She needed somebody to give her a little push. Fortunately for her, she was now seeing that somebody. Link break. She's in his side as she watched all the kids leaving the playground. Not before some of the parents shot angry glares at her and her almost little brother. While Naruto slumped sadly, this happened way too often. Don't worry, Naruto, we don't need them. What do you want to play? The black-haired Konoichi asked, trying to hide her annoyance and remaining obedient. The swings, Naruto suggested, as he rushed towards them. He didn't need to ask if she wanted her to push him. Shizune was expecting that now that he finally started the academy, Naruto could make some friends his age, but such thing didn't happen. In fact, both her and two Sanins were a bit worried about Naruto's current performance at the academy. The boy would more often than not ignore the teacher when explaining something he wasn't interested in, loudly complaining about how boring their lessons were and demanding them to teach some cool jutsus. He would also boast about how strong he was for his age and how he was going to become Hokage. Fortunately, he never reveals who his biological parents were and often challenged the other boys, especially Sasuke Uchiha, to one-on-one duels, and was rather fond of pulling pranks to the teachers and his classmates. It was obviously that the kid desperately needed a friend his age, and that way he wouldn't be victim of constant need to prove how awesome he was to everybody. Suddenly Shizune heard something, a noise coming from the trees near the park. While she wasn't a sensor, her senses were sharpened enough to perceive that somebody was watching them hidden behind those trees. Naruto-kun, I need to find a restroom. I'll leave you alone with Tonton for some minutes, alright? Sure, take your time, Ne-chan, Naruto happily replied. Shizune then disappeared in a cloud of smoke, puzzling the blonde. She used to body flicker. Guess that she really needs to go, huh? Let's go, Tonton. Link break. Hinata was a bit startled when Naruto's older sister disappeared like that. She didn't quite catch when she told him Hinata was there all alone by himself, the perfect opportunity to go and talk to him. But even then, Hinata still couldn't muster the courage to go and talk to him like that. No, she needed to find a way to draw his attention, to make him take the first step. Ahem, a voice said behind her, as Hinata eeped, squealing in shock as she turned around and saw Naruto's older sister staring down at her, arms crossed over her chest. Didn't your parents teach you that spying on people is rude? Shizune asked. Sorry, I didn't mean to, eh? Hinata babbled, her words trembling into an unintelligible stuttering mess. Shizune took a better look at the panicking girl. Hey, Naruto said that he saved a girl with weird-looking eyes from a bunch of bullies that day he enrolled in the academy. It was you, right? Naruto-kun, and my eyes are weird-looking? Hinata said, disheartened. Shizune cursed inwardly for Naruto's choice of words instead of something far less insensitive. I'm sure he didn't mean it as an insult, Shizune assured. You didn't answer my question. What are you doing here? I wanted to thank Naruto-kun against for helping me against those three bullies. Shizune couldn't repress her smile. Three? Weren't they 10, Naruto? And as big as Jiraiya? Then why aren't you doing that instead of stalking him for hair? Hinata blushed and averted her gaze. Oh, I see. This girl is way too shy to talk to him directly. Let's see if I can do something about it. What's your name, girl? I'm Shizune Kato. Hinata Yuga. Pleased to meet you, Shizune-san. Just Shizune is okay, the American said, smiling. Say, Hinata, would you like to do something for Naruto as a way to thank him? Yes, of course, Yuga replied. Take a look at Naruto. What do you think he liked the most this moment? Hinata saw Naruto swinging sadly in the empty park. The answer was obvious. He liked for a friend to play with him. Naruto stuttered. Correct. Now you know what you must do. What? Was this woman expecting to just walk over Naruto and play with him? Just like that? Was she mad? Shizune smiled at her. Come on, I can see in your eyes that you want to play with him. More than anything. Yes, but... Or I can tell Naruto that not only were you spying on him and didn't even bother to say hello. Please, no. Okay, I'll do it. The Yuga almost shouted, extremely frustrated. Then you better hurry. I don't think Naruto will be there for much longer until he gets bored. Hinata nodded and gulped. The shy Yuga started her walk towards the blonde, silent enough not to reveal her presence too soon. She didn't want him to think she was some creepy stalker. After reaching what she deemed a safe distance, she dropped the stealth and walked normally, or as normal as she could. Still, the boy was too enwrapped in his own thoughts to notice her. Hello. Hinata timidly waved a hand at him. Hinata suddenly snapped Naruto from his thoughts and turned his head at her and smiled. Oh, hi! Hinata blushed furiously. There was something about the smile that was so damn dreamy, forcing herself to calm down. She proceeded to introduce herself. Hinata. Naruto tilted his head and looked puzzled at her. What? Hinata was so angry at herself. Did she just shout her name like that? She was aware that she wasn't the most special or eloquent person out there, but that was just too damn much. I mean, my name is Hinata Yuga. What is yours? The shy girl asked, even if she knew the answer. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the future Hokage, Naruto proudly proclaimed. Say, your face looks kind of familiar. Did we met before? Actually, we're classmates. Did you not see me before? Nope, sorry. Then again, there are a lot of people in the class. I only remembered the people that sit near me. Naruto was a bit hurt that Naruto wasn't even aware that she was in the same class as him, but deep down she knew that it was also her fault for not taking the first step. If she always sat far away from him and never opened her mouth except when teacher asked her something, how she could expect him to know her? You also helped me against some bullies that were insulting me some months ago, Naruto said as she started twiddling her fingers. Oh, you're that girl, Naruto said in realization. Did they harass you again? Because if they did, then I'm going to beat them even harder, Naruto loudly said as he punched his palm. No, it's fine. Nobody bullied me since then. By the way, what are you doing? Well, I came here to play with other kids, but nobody wants to play with me, and playing alone gets boring rather quickly, so I'm waiting for Shizune and Neichan to come back from the bathroom so we can go home and maybe train a bit with mom and dad. Yuga decided it was time to make her move. Nada's heart was beating so hard she could swear it would come out of her mouth at any moment. Oh, can I play with you until she comes back? Hinata asked, blushing hard than ever. She couldn't believe she was doing this. Naruto's eyes opened widely, gleaming with joy as his mouth curved into a wide smile. You want to play with me? Really? But I am... Yes, I know the nine tails, but I don't think that having a demon sealed inside you makes you a demon. A demon wouldn't have defended me against those bullies. So you want to be my friend? Like, for real? Naruto asked, still in disbelief. Naruto nodded. Naruto's smile grew even wider. He finally had a friend. For a moment he thought that if this girl wanted to be his friend and was one of his classmates, then why she never talked to him before? But he was too damn happy to care about that now. So, what are you playing? The swings. Don't you know how do you play on swings? Naruto shook her head. Then we'll have to fix that. Come on, sit over here. Naruto did what she was told and sat on the vacant swing next to Naruto. Now you need to move your body forward in order to move the swing. Use your legs to help. Hinata tried several times, but she was unable to make the swing budge. It doesn't work. I'm sorry, Naruto. Hinata said, a bit saddened. It's okay, I can push you. Before Hinata could say anything, Naruto got down from his swing and started to push Hinata. The Shy Yuga felt a knot forming in her stomach. Upon seeing how high the swing went, Naruto was pushing her with all his strength, but at the same time she couldn't help but joy. The excitement at the simple game. She was having so much fun and she didn't remember the last time she had such a great time until now. Alright, now that you have enough momentum, try to keep it going yourself. Remember, use your leg to make more force, Naruto said as he quickly returned to his swing and joined her. Shizune chose that moment to return. Hey Naruto-kun, I'm back, the young Konomichi said. Shizune-chan, Naruto said as he jumped from the swing, still mid-air and landed on his feet in front of her. His joy was so big that he didn't realize that Shizune's bathroom break had lasted almost an hour. You're not going to believe this, I made a friend. Hinata, come here. Hinata got down from her swing and walked towards Naruto and Shizune. Really? That's so great, Naruto-kun, Shizune said with a fake surprise. Fortunately for her, Naruto was naive enough to buy. Her joy, however, was very real. Hello, Shizune-san. Shizune. I'm Hinata Yuga. Hinata said, bowing respectfully. And she even goes to my class at the academy. That means we can see each other every day, Naruto said, bouncing in joy. I'm so glad for you, Naruto-kun, Shizune said, ruffling Naruto's hair. Say, it's getting a bit late. Shall we go home? So soon, but I want to play with Hinata more, Naruto pouted. It's okay, Naruto-kun. We can see each other tomorrow again. In fact, I should be going back home, too. I don't want to worry my parents, Hinata said, twiddling her fingers. Bummer. Okay then, see you tomorrow, Hinata, Naruto said as he felt that Hinata was gone now, and he too left with Shizune when the girl was gone. See you tomorrow, Naruto-kun, said Shizune as she dropped Naruto at home and left for her work. Back with Hinata. Hinata would always remember this day as one of her best of her life. Not only she had made her first friend and had a great time playing with him, but she could tell that she made Naruto so happy as well. In fact, Hinata even managed to forget her worries about her mother declining health after the birth of Hanabi. She couldn't wait to get back home and tell her parents about Naruto. Then she stopped in her tracks. Almost the entire village avoided Naruto because of the Kyuubi. Would her parents disapprove of her friendship with him? The thought filled her with dread. She didn't want to lose Naruto, but on the other hand, she was sure that once they met Naruto, they would see how kind and funny he was, not to mention strong, and they wouldn't have any reason to object. Link break. Jiraiya was as timely as usual to his meeting with the Hokage regarding the Kyuubi attack investigation. However, there was something different this time. The first less noticeable difference is that Jiraiya had a look of excitement on his face. That was good, as it meant that Jiraiya had made something important breakthrough in his research, which might explain the second more noticeable difference. Inoichi, Yamanaka, and Anko Mitarashi walking behind him. I got it, Sensei, Jiraiya claimed enthusiastically. I got the definitive proof that will exonerate the Uchihas and expose the real culprit behind the Kyuubi attack. Those are indeed excellent news, Jiraiya. Not only we will finally be able to put an end to Danzo's suspicions of the clan, but we will close Konoha's darkest chapter, Satoru replied as he gave a puff of his smoke. Anko, show him the report, Jiraiya instructed. Anko nodded and handed him a folder with several files inside. Hiruzen inspected the files as he did, his good mood slowly vanished, with his expression growing sober. He looked at Jiraiya with a grave expression. So you think that the preparator of the Kyuubi attack was Orochimaru? Listen, Okage-sama, I know it sounds far-fetched, but when you put all the evidence together, it makes perfect sense. Anko heard the explanation. Enlighten me then. Jiraiya cleared his throat and began his explanation. I've been investigating that shady mercenary group, the Katsuki, for the past 4 years. Like I told you before, they were interested in the tail beast and often incorporated missing nins to their ranks. And guess who was amongst them? The snake bastard himself. Jiraiya-sama brought a no-name missing nin to torture interrogation a couple of months ago. My team and I have been scanning his head and made some interesting discoveries in which he intersected. The first one was, Jiraiya said, was the Orochimaru is a part of Akatsuki. I could see many members of Orochimaru not only wearing the organization uniform as a black cloak with red clouds, but having meeting with other members, though he never met more than one member at once. The second one was that the Orochimaru is creating his own ninja village somewhere called Otogakure or something. Uncle added, I think we should find and deal with this village as soon as possible, for it snowball into bigger problems. While these discoveries are indeed troubling and worrying, I fail to see the connection between Orochimaru and the Kyuubi, Saratobi pointed out. Don't you see it, Sensei? It's obvious that Orochimaru was a member of Akatsuki before he was defected to Konoha. Besides, his own ambitions. He wanted to become Hokage in order to increase Akatsuki's resources and had access to the Kyuubi, but things didn't go as he planned. He defected, and a year later, when the seal on Kushina was at its weakened state, returned, sneaking his way to the place she was being kept, killing the guards, taking her away, and releasing the Kyuubi. Encore said to intercede. Think about it, Okage-sama. Orochimaru was the perfect man for the job. He was a really good infiltrator, knows Konoha ins and outs better than anybody else, and is strong enough to deal with even the strongest of our Anbus. After destroying Konoha, he would have handed the Kyuubi to Akatsuki, and thus killing two birds with one stone. But once again, he didn't count on Minato's interference, who's more than likely defeated him and then sealed the Kyuubi inside Naruto, foiling his plans, and now he's building his own village in order to raise an army to try and destroy Konoha and reclaim the Kyuubi again. While those are believable motives, there is still the mystery of how Orochimaru managed to place the Kyuubi under his control. It's known well that normal genjutsu, no matter how powerful, hardly works on a tail beast, and the only two men being able to control them was Hashirama Sensei and Madara, ninjas on a league way above Orochimaru's. It is well known that Orochimaru was experimenting with the Hashirama's cells, and we know he produced at least one success in the form of Tenzo. What if that asshole finally perfected the process and gained the first Hokage's power? Uncle suggested. A terrifying thought, but unlikely. If Orochimaru had Hashirama Sensei's powers for so long, it would have used it against us already, Third stated. While all of you made an effort, a commendable one at that, I'm afraid that this won't be enough to publicly place the Uchiha clan above suspicions. Uncle muttered a curse under her breath while Shura looked downward, upset, in which she remained neutral. But you made a good job with this investigation. This Otogakure is something that deserves further investigation. Inuichi, you and the rest of the T department should continue extracting all form of information you can get regarding this issue from the captive. I want daily updates on this. Yes, Ukake-sama, Inuichi and Anko said, in unison as they left the office. Jiraiya, we only need one more piece to finish this puzzle. The mean used to control the Kyuubi. If you can uncover that, then the investigation will be complete and we can pin Orochimaru as the main culprit of this attack. I will, Sensei. I'm not going to stop now that we're so close to the end this, Jiraiya said. Meanwhile, I'll use the information you gather to dissuade Danzo from bothering the Uchiha clan. You are dismissed. One more thing, Sensei, Jiraiya mentioned. My investigation on the Akatsuki and Jinchuriki have made find some interesting discovery tangential to the investigation. And that would be, Suna has created a Jinchuriki. Rosen raised an eyebrow. Do you have any information? Yes. His name is Gaara. He's the youngest son of the Kazekage. It seems that he's doing his best to keep Gaara's status a secret, but the boy is having a lot of trouble keeping the tail beast under control, and such thing can be concealed easily. My guess that results of a shoddy and shady sealing process. Plus, there's the fact that we're only learning about this now. Only Kami knows how long that kid has been a Jinchuriki. More worrying news, I knew that Suna had the one tail in their power, but it was a sealed one, a person, before. If they decided to create a Jinchuriki now, I don't want to think about the implications. We know that Tsunagakure is the weakest of the 5 great ninja villages. Maybe they decided to put their tail beast to use in order to appear strong to both potential enemies and clients. Even then, that's something we can't afford to overlook, Jiraiya. I'm going to prepare a trip for you to Suna. Once everything is settled, we'll expect the Jinchuriki and uncover the reasons behind its creation. Suna is our ally, and I hate to think that they're plotting against us, but you can't never be too cautious. Understood, Sensei. Link break. Fire release. Great fireball jutsu. Shizune jumped in time to avoid the incoming fireball, which exploded against the ground a couple meters in front of her. Her opponent was an 11-year-old boy of average height with dull black hair, tied in a ponytail and black eyes, wearing the Konoha's tuning flake jacket over his usual black shirt. Said opponent took advantage of the dust raised by his fireball and dashed at her at an ungodly speed. Two kunais clashed against each other multiple times, filling the air with sharp metallic noises. Shizune leaped backwards and, while she was midair, fired a barrage of senbons at her opponent before her wrist-mounted needle launcher. Said opponent also jumped backwards to avoid them and used a kunai to expertly deflect the ones he couldn't dodge. Once Shizune touched the ground, she was alerted by the sounds of spinning shurikens flying at her. The shurikens hit the target, but they vanished with the young nin in a puff of smoke, leaving a log behind. Upon quickly retrieving his weapons from the log, Shizune's much younger opponent looked around, trying to locate his enemies. His ear perked a sharp whistle that signaled an incoming barrage of senbons. Activating his Sharingan, the male ninja threw a few kunais in the air, which clashed against the senbons, stopping their momentum and making them falling to the ground. Shizune suddenly appeared behind the Uchiha, quickly forming a series of hand seals, water release, water wall. Shizune's cheeks puffed and she expelled from her mouth a large amount of water at the Uchiha, who suddenly burst into a murder of crows, flying in different directions. Shizune quickly formed a hand seal and shouted, "Release!" making the crows disappear. Knowing where her opponent was, she quickly turned around and while delivering a high kick, which was parried by her opponent's arm. From there, the Mariknin and the Uchiha traded punches and kicks until Shizune made the Uchiha trip. The black-haired woman quickly pinned the boy to the ground, carefully avoiding eye contact. "I think this is over," Shizune declared, placing a kunai on Itachi's throat. "I guess it is," her opponent conceded. Shizune put the kunai back into her pouch and helped her opponent to stand up. "Nice power, Itachi-kun." "Thanks, Shizune-san. This time I managed to stay 5 minutes without using the Sharingan," Itachi said proudly. "I'm sure it will be 10 minutes next time," the Mariknin said, smiling. "Eh? I'm not so sure. I still can't beat you even with my Sharingan." "No, but you will. You're improving at a really fast pace, which shouldn't be a surprise given how you quickly managed to earn a promotion. I'm sure you'll become a Jonin way before I do." "Yeah," Itachi sheepishly said, rubbing the back of his neck. "Plus, I can tell that today you weren't entirely focused." "Really?" "Because I thought I was focused as ever, Itachi-kun. You cannot lie to me. I can see that there's something troubling you. Care to tell me what it is?" Shizune's question was met with silence as the Uchiha prodigy looked at the grass below and sat down. Shizune started to feel bad for pressuring him to talk, but something he clearly wasn't comfortable with. She sat beside him. "Sorry, Itachi-kun, it was not my place to ask. If it's something of personal nature, Shizune-san, did somebody you love ever force you to do something you don't want to?" Itachi asked. Shizune was taken aback by this question and worried if Itachi had some problems with his parents. "Well, no. I'm lucky such things never happened to me." "Well, it's that," Itachi stuttered a bit. "He never talked about this with anybody else. Not even Shishui, his cousin and closest friend. But then again, there was something about Shizune and her generally friendly demeanor that made him comfortable to talk about personal matters. My parents, they want me to join Anpu." "And you don't want to?" Shizune resumed. "Exactly. I know the kind of missions the Anpu do, and I don't want to do that. At least not yet." While that was technically true, Itachi purposely left out the other, much more meaningful reason for him not wanting to become an Anpu. "Well, I'd say that the Anbu would rarely benefit from somebody of your talent, Itachi-kun. I'm sure you'll be promoted to squad captain in no time," Shizune replied, making Itachi sigh. "Then again, if that's not what you want to do you have any other ideas?" "Well, I was planning that after being promoted to Jonin, I'd ask for a squad of Genin to train. I always liked the idea of being a teacher. Well, not an academy teacher, but a field teacher. You know what I mean?" "Yes, of course. In fact, I think I might do the same once I'm promoted. I'm sure you'll be an amazing teacher, Shizune-san. And about your problem, well, I don't know what else I could tell you other than talk to your parents and make sure they know how you feel. If they really love you, and I'm sure they do, they'll understand you and let you choose your own path." They spent a couple moments there, silently sitting beside each other. A gentle breeze started to blow. "Well, I don't know. if it'll work, but I'll try talking to them. Thanks for your advice, Shizune-san, Itachi said, stooding up. You're welcome, Itachi-kun. Same hour tomorrow? I'm afraid not. I've been assigned for a mission outside the village. Ah, nuts. Now where am I going to find a worthy sparring opponent that doesn't leave me all scores and sore? Seriously, never spar with Tsunade-sama. That woman never holds back, not even with her children. Itachi chuckled. Well, she's the best medic in the world, right? She doesn't hold back because she will patch you up afterwards. Anyways, I better get going. See ya, Itachi said as he headed back to the Uchiha compound. Link break. Meanwhile, the firstborn of other clans headed returns to their home as well. Hinata Yuga was still smiling upon remembering the heated argument between Naruto and the history teacher regarding the Second Ninja War. Naruto insisted that the information on the textbook was wrong since he claimed his parents were veterans from the war and their versions of a certain battle clashed with the textbook's description. Hinata had the feeling that the Sanin, while undoubtedly skilled and powerful, had exaggerated their contributions during the said war. Still, there was something heartwarming of seeing Naruto defending her parents' reputation so vehemently. Hinata was now regretting not talking to Naruto sooner. After that afternoon in the park, Naruto sat beside her instead of his usual seat near Sasuke Uchiha. Though while she enjoyed his company, most of the time Naruto had an habit to loudly disrupt the class when he lesson failed to catch his interest, which could be kind of annoying. One day Hinata politely asked Naruto to stop interrupting the teacher when he was explaining the basics of chakra control. Apparently Naruto already knew that already and wanted to do something else. She was afraid that Naruto would take her request as some sort of betrayal and would seize their friendship, but his reaction surprised her. What? Oh, sorry, Hinata, I didn't know you were so interested in this. Oh, shut up now, he said happily, replying to her. Everybody was stunned at the Hinata's amazing feat of convincing the hyperactive blonde to remain silent. The teacher called it a miracle and almost moved to tears. Now, whenever Naruto didn't feel like listening to teacher, he often followed Shikamaru's example and took a nap instead. Unlike Shikamaru, there was times in which Naruto would snore loudly, promoting the teacher to throw the board rubber at him. At class, Naruto and Hinata often went to the park to play together. People would murmur upon seeing the demon boy playing with the Yugaverse, but neither paid any heed to those people. They were too busy having fun. Other times, Naruto would invite Hinata to his house. Whenever she went, they usually played with Naruto's 2-year-old siblings, Agane and Kaite. Hinata thought that maybe one day she could bring Hanabi to play with them, given that they were only a year older than her. Usually the four of them were under Jiraiya's and Shizune's watch. Tsunade would arrive much later once her shift at the hospital was over. The three of them were always really kind and polite to her and made their best to keep her and make her feel welcome there. However, today was none of those days. Naruto had to meet his mother for some reason at the training ground 3, their usual training spot, so finding herself nothing better to do, Hinata decided to head back home and maybe spend some quality time with Hanabi until her father called her for gentle fist training. Hinata realized that for all the time she had been in Naruto's house, she never asked him to visit hers. Then again, her friendship with Naruto was a secret to pretty much all of her clan. She was still thinking how to tell her father that she had befriended the demon boy everybody feared and avoided. A nasty surprise awaited the little Yuga though. Upon entering the compound, she found it only deserted, no Yuga's youth training, no branch house patrolling the place. She had a bad feeling about this. After dropping her backpack and removing her shoes at the entrance, she started calling for her parents or anybody else. Finally, she found another clansman, Ko Yuga, a main house member who was his usual caretaker whenever her parents were busy. Oh, Hinata-sama, I see you're back. Ko soberly greeted the young heiress. What is going on, Ko-san? Where's everybody? Hinata asked worriedly. Hinata-sama. So something bad happened. As your mother, Ko began. Hinata's skin turned even paler. Mother? What happened to mother? Hinata panicked. Ko grabbed her and led her towards her parents' bedroom, where most of the Yugas, both main and branch members, were waiting outside. After giving birth to Hanabi, Hinata's mother wasn't the same again. Her body was often in pain, ate very little, and more often than not would end up throwing up, and felt perpetually exhausted. They had called a doctor before, which prescribed her some medications. They appeared to work at first, but after that the symptoms returned and became worse each day. Hinata was afraid that something like that would happen anytime soon. Hikari-sama has felt really bad these past months. It appears that she's got even worse. Yashi-sama called the family medic in order to check on her. We can only wait to see what he can do. They didn't have to wait much until they heard Yashi's angry and desperate yells. What do you mean that you did all what you could? There are to be something you could do to save her. I already told you, Yashi-sama. Symptoms are too advanced. You should have called me earlier than this. We already called you once. Your medications didn't do anything to get her better. I'm sorry, Yashi-sama, but I did all what I can. I can prescribe you some painkillers to make your wife's last days more bearable. Get out of my sight, Yashi yelled. The medics left, and the gathering of the Yuga started to murmur among themselves. Hinata was on the verge of tears. You must remain strong, Hinata-sama, is what Hikari-sama would have wanted. Ko said, who was also fighting his tears. Hinata felt herself that her world was falling apart. Now that this was too cruel. Now that things were finally going better for her, she had to lose her mother, all because the doctors couldn't see that her state of health was way worse than he initially thought. If Tsunade had treated her mother then. Wait, that was it. What about Tsunade-sama? Can we call her to check mother? Hinata asked. We already looked for her. She wasn't at the hospital. There was nobody in her residence. We don't know where she is right now. Hinata faced sad upon seeing her mother lost hope disappear until she remembered why Tsunade wasn't on the hospital nor her house. Kosan, I know where Tsunade-sama is. Hinata exclaimed in realization. You do? Yes. Come on, let's hurry. Lane break. On the training ground 3, Naruto was laying on the grass, panting heavily, with bruises all over his body. Every centimeter of his body was in horrible pain. Come on, Brad, get up. We haven't finished up the warm-up yet. Tsunade vigorously shouted as she slightly kicked him on the sides. Can you please tone down the brutality a little bit more, please? Naruto said between gasps. When you become a ninja and go out of the village, you will find enemies that will try to kill you, won't hold back. So answer me, why should I hold you back? I would be a bad teacher if I did. And I didn't prepare you properly, wouldn't I? Tsunade explained, hands on her hips as she started to stare down at Naruto. I like to stand up, but I can't feel my legs or anything. Naruto swore that he would never call Jiraya's meditation and chakra control exercise boring again. Tsunade sighed and rolled her eyes. She crouched before Naruto and placed a hand on his chest, which started to glow with a green light. Soon a pleasant feeling started to cross his body, slowly but surely erasing his pain. While the pain didn't disappear completely, it demised and diminished enough to be bearable. You're such a wimp, you know. What would the fourth think if he saw you complaining like that over a rough training? You won't become Hokage anytime soon if you didn't build some pain tolerance. Tsunade scolded as she healed him. Better now, kid? Yeah, thanks, Mom. Don't expect me to go this easy on you all the time. Okay, discontinue and you're going nowhere. Let's continue, okay? Get in the tiger suit basic stance and try to dodge my Naruto-kun, a high-pitched voice yelled. Both Naruto and Tsunade turned around to the source of voice and saw Hinata and adult Hyuga running towards them. Oh, hey Hinata, nice to see you. Did you come here to see me spar with my mom? Naruto was grinning at her. Both Hinata and the unknown Hyuga stopped to gasp for air. They were both completely red and sweating, as if they had been running non-stop for some quiet time. Tsunade-sama, you have to come with us. It is an emergency, the adult Hyuga said. Hey, calm down, what's going on? Tsunade asked, it's my mother. She's very sick, and our doctor can't do anything to make her better. Naruto almost explained, almost on the verge of tears. Naruto gasped in horror and turned to Tsunade. Mom, you have to help Hinata, please. Alright. Just let me go to my house first to get my medical instruments and medicines, said Tsunade. Link break. Soon it became nighttime. Upon arriving, Tsunade pretty much kicked Hiyashi out of the bedroom since she didn't want any audience with treating patients in critical conditions, and spent 3 there the following hours. They didn't stop the Yuga clan head as well as many other clansmen to gather in front of the closed door. Hinata was sitting in the hallway near the bedroom with Naruto at her side, trying to comfort her at the best of his abilities. Mom is the best medic there. She'll heal your mom in no time, you'll see. Hinata didn't say anything. She nodded and prayed to whatever deity is out there for her mom to go out of this alive. Hinata then realized something. There was the first time Naruto was in her house. Besides that, now all the Yuga clan, her father included, knew that she was friends with Naruto, but none of that mattered to her anymore. Her mother was the only thing in her mind right now. Finally, after several hours that felt like days, an exhausted Tsunade exited the room. She was immediately surrounded by nervous Yugas. A glare was enough to make them to keep some space. Alright, I have good news and bad news. What do you want to hear first? The good news, Yashi replied, trying his best to conceal his desperation. Your wife is out of the danger now. She's alive, and she'll live. A chorus of relieved sighs filled the Hiyashi's expressions. See, Hinata, your mom is okay to be and good to go, Naruto said to an equally relieved Hinata. She's very weak right now, but if you follow my instructions, she'll be fine in a few months. Tsunade added, and the bad news? Her uterus was beyond repair. She won't have any more children again, Tsunade announced. Her statement was followed by several murmurs. If she's going to be okay, then that doesn't matter. Yashi, your wife, was afflicted by an infectious disease that I traced back to her uterus. It was in a very advanced status. 2 days later, and she would have been beyond saving. Was there any complications when she gave birth to your youngest daughter? Yes, there were. But the doctor said that she should be fine. Yashi protested. Eventually, and evidently, those doctors missed something. Anyway, there's no point in fettering over that. I'll come here every week to check her progress. If I can't come for whatever reason, Shizune will come in my place. Now, this is what your wife must do if she wants to recover. After Tsunade finished the explanation, she and Naruto were escorted to the main compound gates. It was late, and treating Hikari for so long had left Naruto utterly exhausted. She prayed Jiraiya wasn't in the mood for sex, or was she kidding? That horny bastard was always in the mood for sex. Oh well, at least she had a very good excuse to put him down this time. In the name of the entire Yuga clan, thank you, Tsunade-sama. What you just did today will never be forgotten, Yashi solemnly said as he bowed before Tsunade. Yes, thank you, Tsunade-sama. Hinata's voice echoed as she bowed as well. Eh? It's okay, I was just doing my job. Besides, our kids are friends, right? Tsunade said with a chuckle. Then she yawned. Boy, after that, I feel like I could sleep for a whole week. Let's hope there are no emergencies tomorrow at the hospitals. Come on, Brad. It's way past your bedtime. Coming. See you tomorrow, Hinata. Naruto chimed as he waved at her. Come on, Hinata. We should be in bed already, too. Yashi stated as he led his daughter to the bed. Can I see mother first? Hinata asked. Hinata, your mother needs to rest now. You can see her tomorrow morning. Alright then, Hinata conceded, a bit disappointed after all. That had happened. She wanted to see that her mother was okay with her own eyes, but she knew that her father was right. By the way, you didn't tell me you were friends with that kid. Yeah, she nodded in an oddly neutral tone. Sorry, father, it's that. Hinata stuttered, unable to form a coherent stance. Were you afraid that I wouldn't let you be friends with the boy holding the nine tails within him? Yeah, she said. Hinata nodded. Other parents tell their kids to stay away from Naruto, and I thought that I only would have forbidden such a thing if the boy proved to be a bad influence on you, and for the time being, it doesn't seem to be the case. So you're okay with him being my friend? As long as he doesn't give me any reason to mistrust him and behave properly, yes. And I'll let this time pass, and I don't want you to keep any secrets from me again, understood? Yashi stated sternly. Hinata nodded. The little Yuga sighed in relief. Not only she didn't lose her mother, but her friendship with Naruto was safe for the time being. She wouldn't have any problem sleeping tonight. Meanwhile, Hiyashi couldn't stop thinking about Naruto and how his presence had affected his family. If it wasn't for him, neither Jiraiya nor Tsunade wouldn't have come back to Konoha, and thus the Hokage would have never attempted to intimidate the Raikage, and Hisashi would have ended up killing himself to placate Kumagakure. And then there was his wife, who would have been dead right now if it wasn't for Tsunade, as well as the fact that her daughter had recently befriended her adoptive son. Then again, he wondered if he would really have allowed Hinata to befriend that boy before. No, he couldn't make an unbiased opinion on Naruto, given that he owed his wife's life. He never thought much about that boy, and the idea of Hinata becoming his friend never crossed his mind before. Not even once. While the Yuga was one of the most traditionalist clan of the Konoha, Hisashi never wasn't a superstitious man. He had heard many people say, even those among his clan, that Naruto would only bring bad luck and misfortune to whoever was near him. Surely the risk of the nine tails coming out was very real, regardless of how small it was. But Naruto being a bringer of bad luck was just ridiculous. But now it seems that the opposite was true. Naruto's presence had saved the lives of two of his closest and most beloved people, on top of becoming his daughter's first and only friend. And while her progress in mastering the Gentle Fist was going at a far slower pace than he would have wished, maybe he could convince Naruto to let her join him on training with the Sanin. But for some reason, Hiyashi couldn't shake the thought that all this good fortune had a price tag attached to it, and that one day somebody would have to ask him to pay. As this is where I'm going to be leaving off this part, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you like this content of this channel. And yeah, guys, this is where I'm going to be ending this part. I hope you like it, and yeah, this is Apollo Chiha, and I'm signing out. Peace.